What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
It was not guaranteed that the successor would inherit every single ability, but as long as the Hunpo was among the skills passed down, there was hope for the next generation, and, with the aspiration that an all-powerful martial artist would emerge following his teachings, Long had taken his last breath. In the world where Xianhua came into existence, her fate took a unique twist, marking her as the Holy Fist and earning her the esteemed title of the Mightiest. The ancestral Hunpo coursing through her spiritual essence seamlessly fused, granting her skills and power that were truly her own. Her strength reached an extraordinary, almost otherworldly zenith, surpassing 100,000 existence points. In the demi-material realm known as the key world Velgrynd hailed from, she would undoubtedly be classified as an enlightened being. Comparisons with others in this realm were futile. Yet, fate played its own game, leading her to face an adversary she had underestimated. Velgrynd toyed with her for a brief moment, sealing her defeat.
I admit defeat.
Ha 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 ha. What splendid strength. Definitely superior to Tensei. I believe you could have even triumphed over Kondu in this world.
Despite her clear defeat, Xianhua seemed invigorated by the experience. Any doubts about Velgrynd vanished, and she acknowledged that this was the true manifestation of her power. Velgrynd, in turn, couldn't contain her joy at witnessing the enduring legacy of the long martial art. She showered Xianhua and her disciples with praise, even contemplating the idea of bestowing a couple of god-class weapons upon them. Although that didn't come to fruition, the sheer delight radiating from this encounter was undeniable. After numerous twists and turns, representatives from all relevant states had gathered. It turned out the Chinese political figures brought here had more to them than met the eye. They concealed their true identities as martial artists. Japan came to realize they had wrongly assumed this entire situation was a Yohma trap, and no blame was assigned. They were subsequently replaced by the actual government officials. Listening to their account, it was a tragically familiar tale of hostages being seized. However, the scale here was national. The Phantoms initially targeted the offspring of the nation's leaders within the Chinese territories. Over time, they expanded their influence, increased their numbers, established connections, infiltrated their targets, and subjected them to brainwashing before dispatching them to their strongholds. Teachers, colleagues, superiors, families, they gradually gained control over all of them, and they were approximately 70% closer to achieving their ultimate objectives. This is why the unanimous decision of the National People's Council was to greenlight the invasion of the United States of Azalea.
I don't expect a mere apology to cut it. But I hope you get that none of us picked this path willingly.
Wong conveyed, bowing his head.
Well, I get it.
George replied.
Every nation's got its own mess to handle. I lost my own son, and if I weigh my family against my country, my choice will always be the same. It's my duty as president, but I won't back down till the bitter end.
Yeah, I feel where you're coming from.
George and Wong exchanged nods.
In that line, let me toss in my apologies too.
Emperor Magellan of the Great Rosium dynasty chimed in, admitting that his military had spun out of control, launching an unrestrained invasion of the Chinese territories.
I guess I'm equally to blame. Our attack on Great Rosium was a major screw-up orchestrated by the Yohma. It's about time I own up to that as well.
Emperor Zhang, known for his arrogance, surprisingly displayed humility. After some reflection in the waiting room, where Yamamoto and Akira Sakura's quick thinking had saved his life, he acknowledged the recklessness of his earlier actions. Sensing the shifting tides, he consulted with his 7 sacred treasures. Out of the 7, Zhang's right-hand person held the 4th rank. One member had joined the Rosiam invasion and hadn't returned yet, so they were filling in for this meeting. The absent member, a woman with an insatiable thirst for battle, had fervently requested to join the operation and had set her military unit in motion without awaiting HQ's approval. This blatant breach of the chain of command, with a sacred treasure initiating an invasion without imperial orders, posed a significant issue. She had once staunchly opposed any hostilities but recently underwent a noticeable change of heart, causing confusion among those around her and arousing suspicion. After her latest transgression, the government reluctantly decided to initiate a search, despite their hesitancy to label a hero and sacred treasure as adversaries. Their attempt to unearth conclusive evidence of a Yohma seizing control of her had ended in failure. Yet, they had to come to terms with it as an undeniable reality, a painful decision that shattered their pride. The intense clash between Velgrynd and Xianhua had played out in the courtyard, visible from the waiting area. Even when the 7 sacred treasures combined forces, they couldn't overpower the Holy Fist. Acknowledging the futility of pretending to possess unmatched strength, the treasures and Zhang reached a mutual agreement. Without further ado, the sacred Arcean Empire abandoned its ambitions of world conquest.
Just remembered, legends say anyone blessed by the goddess will rule the world. If that's undeniable truth, then Akira Sakura might be the most formidable ruler of our generation.
Zhang's firm grasp of this concept led him to wholeheartedly pledge allegiance to Akira Sakura. Thus, the summit kicked off with a flurry of apologies.
If I may also express.
No need. We get Japan stance quite well.
Indeed. We, from the United States, also regret putting you in such a predicament.
Akira Sakura tried to join in, but Wang and George promptly interjected. Others in the room, including Yamamoto, silently against the wall, easily discerned their leader's intentions.
Yes, I can sense their motives. Accusing His Majesty Akira Sakura would surely provoke his anger.
Yamamoto briefly glanced at Velgrynd, contemplating how he would have made the same decision if he were in their shoes. Following this series of apologies, the summit continued, with the leaders crafting a strategy against the Yohma. However, all eyes quickly turned to Velgrynd.
So, Ruo, what kind of strategy do you think would effectively combat the Yohma?
The Japanese Minister of Defense found it challenging to pose the question, a humbling experience for him. As the commander of one of the conquering empire's most potent forces, he wasn't accustomed to deflecting responsibility. This time, however, no one was ready to criticize him. All the world leaders eagerly awaited Velgrynd's response, realizing they had no alternative. They lacked the firepower necessary to withstand these enigmatic adversaries beyond human comprehension. As the attention of the assembly turned to Velgrynd, their beacon of hope, she appeared completely unfazed. Her gaze fixed on the Minister of Defense, as if she expected the answer to be evident.
You do realize the pointlessness of any military deployment, right?
Unfortunately, yes. It might discourage them from nearing our homeland. But in a naval battle, we're no match for the Yohma. Even if we gathered everyone onto our ships here, we'd still be powerless against them.
The minister's evaluation was spot on. If the enemy fleet approached Japan, their cannons could target cities. Establishing a naval defensive line made sense, but it would be futile if victory was unattainable. They couldn't even be certain that the Yohma would aim to destroy urban areas. Given their ability to manipulate minds, they might choose to co-opt the cities for their own purposes instead. In such a case, an elaborate naval battle served no purpose.
Exactly.
Velgrynd nodded.
Bullets don't affect Yohma, and regular soldiers are no threat. That leaves us with two options.
What are they?
Either entrust all of this to me or put in a greater effort yourselves. It's one of these choices.
For the proud military figures in the room, Velgrynd's proposition was nothing short of humiliating. Yet, the harsh reality was that none of them had a counter-argument. As purportedly the most formidable war strategists in the world, they exchanged meaningful glances, gauging each other's responses. Their eyes conveyed unanimous consensus. Araki Gensei and Minamoto Saburo, honorable swordsmen of the conquering empire, were the first to voice their thoughts.
After all, it falls upon us to resolve this issue. I have no intention of feigning arrogance, but relying solely on Raoul would be a disservice to us. If there's anything I can contribute, I'm willing to stake my life on it.
I agree with my comrade.
The 7 sacred treasures of Archa echoed their sentiments.
Well, we wouldn't want Japan to claim all the glory. We ought to play a role in this as well.
We cannot expect His Majesty Zhang to personally engage in battle. We should assume this responsibility.
Exactly. The Emperor has certain duties he can fulfill only if he remains alive. This task is ours to undertake.
Except for Zhang, the other 6 members were eager to contribute, and even Xianhua, the Holy Fist, displayed unwavering determination.
Long Yuan, my lord, if you're willing to protect humanity, we need not fear. Even if we face defeat, with your support, victory in the long run is virtually assured. Please grant us, comparatively smaller in stature, an opportunity to thrive in battle.
She humbly lowered her head, becoming the 9th volunteer for this mission. However, one more individual had yet to speak up.
Can I join the effort?
This was Billy, the code name for the head of the United States Secret Service. Personally tasked with safeguarding President Hayes, his expertise in warfare was undeniable. Despite his youthful age of just 26, he exuded a rugged, masculine presence, complete with a distinctive scar on one cheek. Proficient in casting magic and handcrafting bullets for his firearm, he ensured that anyone he shot met their demise, even ghosts. While a courageous offer from a seemingly brave agent, Billy appeared slightly below the caliber of the other 9 volunteers. His physical abilities were unremarkable, and his weaponry didn't stand out. Nevertheless, compared to the remaining individuals in the room who remained silent, unsure of their potential contribution, Billy seemed a more viable candidate. The question, however, lingered on whether he could truly make a meaningful impact in a combat scenario. Billy anxiously awaited Velgryn's response, but George saw fit to advocate for him.
Yes, Billy has demonstrated exceptional skill as a guardian. He's saved my life multiple times, and Emil holds him in high regard. I'll withdraw his candidacy if he'll be a hindrance, but if possible, include him.
George's decision to part with such a trusted member of his personal staff implied increased vulnerability on his part. Fully aware of this fact, but with humanity on the brink of extinction, he couldn't stand idle. George believed that Billy could hold his own against the lower-level Yohma. His conviction led him to make the offer to bolster their combat capabilities. This assembled group would form a team tasked with infiltrating the Yohma's headquarters. Their mission was to eliminate the portal known as the Underworld Gate, effectively eradicating the heart of the invaders' threat. Everyone was determined to carry out this mission, but Velgrynd responded with a measured smile to their proposals.
If you had decided to depend solely on me, I would have protected only those I deemed worthy. Nevertheless, I'm thrilled to witness your determination to fight. And as a token of my appreciation for your resolve, I'll offer you some assistance, all right?
In reality, had they chosen the former option, Velgrynd had been fully ready to leave the fate of the human race to itself. She even contemplated taking her favorites, like Akira Sakura and George Hayes, and transporting them to another world to live. Goddesses could be capricious in that manner. However, these representatives of humanity made the correct decision, prompting Velgrynd to respond in kind.
Your codename is Billy, right? All right. I'll allow you to join the team, no reason to reject you. Your strength is on par with Minamoto over there, and with some enhancements to your weaponry, I believe both of you can become far more formidable.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Nate, Jason Martin, Zach Rawson, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadelle, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Home Like Drop, Vastolord, Martin Ramos, Anselmo. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.